the honorable members are allowed to react to specifically what I presented, because tomorrow we already have laid out programs of the ministry being in the field, and they were shifted to...
You see, Honorable Minister, what I'm saying
But
is
however, the Ministry of Justice, I'm just saying, if the Ministry of Justice is specifically going to present, Right Honorable Speaker, I beg for your protection.
Yeah, please, please. Honorable, continue.
Thank you, Right Honorable. If the Ministry of Justice will present tomorrow without specifically needing the backing of the ministers of local government, we would kindly appreciate that.
Now, Honorable Minister, why I was saying this, this information you brought is from Ministry of Justice. It's from Electoral Commission. It is from Ministry of Justice, which supervises Electoral Commission. Now, yours is mobilization.
Yes.
Which you
Honorable,
have done very well.
right.
I don't know if you have. I just wanted to know if you have any legal mandate.
Honorable members, none of you has a right to tell any member of parliament to sit down. No.
Honorable.
No. I was simply thanking the speaker so I could go and take my seat.
Okay.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you.
I can sit without being held in my waist. Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you. So, honorable colleagues, order. Now, why I've guided this way, I don't want to put the ministry, which is not responsible for organizing elections, on the spot on the issue. They've done a great job getting all this information and doing the mobilization. So mainly, we wanted the Ministry of Local Government on the part of mobilization, but also on mobilization, you can see the minister has said the Electoral Commission is responsible. So I would want the Electoral Commission, which is represented by the minister. I want to thank you, Honorable Nameere, for the great job here. Honorable colleagues, next item.
Honorable members, the head of state highlighted investment in roads and the standard gauge railway, but did not pay sufficient attention to the maintenance crisis that is consuming what has already been built. The Parliamentary Committee on Physical Infrastructure reported on the Integrated Transport Infrastructure System, ITIS, showing that over 95% of national, municipal, and town council roads are in poor condition, with transport costs accounting for up to 40% of Uganda's total exports. This is a challenge that we need to address as well. The Auditor General identified 14 transferred road projects worth 1.8 trillion stalled under the UNRA mainstreaming exercise, while KCCA's allocation was cut 14.56%, even as absorption fell to 22.7% under the Greater Kampala Metropolitan Area Urban Development Program, leaving KCCA facing a road funding gap of about 45 billion. What would we like to see? Number one, restoration of the transport area's budget to at least 300 billion shillings with a binding 3-year clearance schedule approved by Parliament. And this money is for all our constituencies. Number two, quarterly audited reports, progress reports on the ITIS program, tabled before the relevant parliamentary committee. Number three, real accountability for non-performers. Uganda needs roads that last, rails that move cargo, and transport costs that fall. Not promises while contractors go unpaid and roads deteriorate. Let me talk about local government and service delivery. I saw the Honorable Minister for Local Government around. The quality of government is judged not at the center of power, but where citizens actually live. The PSST acknowledged in February of 2026 that more than a third of all public spending flows through local government, and that government fails to deliver services where citizens live if internal audit fails at that level. The Auditor General's annual report shows this is already the present reality. PDM, which is government's flagship program to alleviate poverty, is the most attractive case study in this case. Of 3.26 trillion released to over 10,500 PDM circles nationwide, only 2.7 trillion had been dispersed, had reached intended households by June of 2025, leaving 508 billion undistributed. In 55 local governments, 619 households were found implementing ineligible projects. That's according to the Auditor General. And the audit identified 109 confirmed ghost projects. These are people stealing taxpayers' money. Activities that exist on paper, receive public money, and have nothing happening on ground. We need to address this matter. It is imperative that critical field across local governments, that accounting officers responsible for the diverted funds face meaningful sanctions. I've seen the thrust of our colleagues in the Ministry of Local Government. We want to see action in this regard. Honourable Speaker, let me move to tourism, trade and industry. Tourism recorded strong performance in 2015, and the opposition says so plainly, because it's a fact. There was a strong performance last financial year. International arrivals grew 19.7% to 1.64 million visitors, exceeding the 2019 pre-pandemic benchmark because we had challenges of COVID at the time. And earnings reached a record 5.8 trillion, up 21.3% from 2024. The sector contributed 6.6% of GDP and directly supported 803,691 jobs. Yet delivered despite a structural funding deficit. Honourable Speaker, current program funding of 492 billion falls way below the 620 billion required under NDP4. And the Uganda Tourism Board could not submit 16 planned international event bids. Why? Lack of subvention funds. Uganda ranks 112th on the World Economic Forum's Travel and Tourism Competitiveness Index, behind Kenya at 82nd, while Rwanda has invested over 330 billion since 2018 on tourism branding alone. That's just branding. More than Uganda's entire annual UTB budget, the entire. These comparisons should not be seen in bad light, because these are our sister countries in the East African community. There's only 4 5-star facilities that exist nationwide, and tourists leave an estimated 60% of potential spending untapped. This is a gold mine that we need to take care of. Mr. Speaker, let me move quickly to environment and natural resources. One of the most significant omissions in the address was environmental sustainability. NEMA's State of the Environment Report of 2025 shows Uganda has lost over 60% of its forest cover since independence, deforestation running at 92,000 hectares a year. One of the highest rates in sub-Saharan Africa, wetland coverage has fallen from 15.6% of national land area to about 8.9%. This is an area we need to fix as well. Let me move to energy and minerals. Installed electricity generation capacity has risen to 2,098 megawatts. That's enough. And we are taking note of that achievement as the opposition. But it's not matched by access or efficient utilization. The UN country analysis for Uganda 2025 shows that by 2024, only 53% of households had access to electricity, and just 25% were connected to the national grid. We need to fix this area as well. Let me move, Right Honourable Speaker, to Presidency, and then the Office of the Prime Minister and Defence. The head of state spoke strongly against corruption and non-performance. These are welcome pronouncements. But credibility requires accountability to begin at the institutions closest to the center of power. And on that test, the record is unsatisfactory. The Office of the Prime Minister, designated by Article 108A as the engine room of government, has repeatedly been linked to major accountability failures. And these are issues we have discussed here, including parliamentary reports. In March of 2026, OPM officials appeared before the Public Accounts Committee this very year over allegations that 3.5 billion shillings earmarked for victims of the Kitezi landfill collapse had been diverted to activities elsewhere. Again, we need to act on the pronouncements that we are making, Mr. Speaker. Let me move to the last sector, that's the East African community and regional integration. The opposition supports regional integration, and the Pan-African vision is one that we share. But meaningful integration requires more than declarations. The EAC Secretariat's Regional Integration Report of 2025 shows intra-EAC trade at only about 18% of total regional trade. And the East African Monetary Union, originally targeted for 2025, has been postponed indefinitely for lack of the fiscal indiscipline and institutional convergence that it requires. Now that we are promoting EAC, we need to act upon it. Honorable Speaker, I did see the other day a lawyer within the region who is licensed to practice here being barred from accessing our country. And she was issued a decision that you are not wanted here, persona non grata. Let's follow the process even as that happens. She probably should have been given a chance to explain herself that this is what we are charging you with. You then have a chance to explain yourself. When we expel, we have been complaining about South Africans who are expelling nationals, including Ugandans. Let's not do the same. In conclusion, Right Honorable Speaker and colleagues, the facts presented in this, my response, paint a clear picture. While progress has been made in some areas, many Ugandans continue to face poverty, unemployment, poor public services, and growing pressure on their livelihoods. And the gap between official claims and daily experience is still wide. Ugandans want decent healthcare, quality education, reliable infrastructure, opportunities to earn a living, accountable government management of public resources, and respect for the rule of law by all institutions. These are reasonable expectations. They're not out of the world or wild expectations, really. And they should be at the center of government action. The opposition will continue to advocate for these priorities and to hold government accountable for its commitments to the people of Uganda. We love this country dearly. Let me say that again. We love this country dearly. And we commit to working towards its betterment. That's precisely why we keep raising the concerns that we do, so that we get to fix them. And when our country thrives, we all thrive, all of us. I say all this for God and my country. Thank you.